I think it's fair to say that our gospel is about giving everything to Christ. Some of you might remember, some of us who are a little older, someone named Danny Thomas. Anyone remember Danny Thomas? He was actor, producer, and had a great career in Hollywood, had his own studio. But Danny Thomas was also the founder of the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in the United States. And at St. Jude's, every child who goes there and receives treatment, and this is world-class treatment, does not pay 1 penny out of their pocket. And Danny Thomas said, and he happens to be Lebanese like me, he said, there are 2 kinds of people in the world, the givers and the takers. The takers may eat better, but the givers sleep better. Something about, I think, our gospel tonight. I'm going to share a story. I just saw it in the summer, take a little different approach during the summer months. So I like to do this a lot of times during the Thursday evening Mass here, to just share a story about someone who actually just gave exactly what Jesus is asking us to do in their life, and to inspire us if we're struggling with this, and I'm sure this is a very challenging gospel for us, to kind of put things in perspective for us. I'm going to tell you about a man named Khalil al-Haddad. Now, he was born the 3rd of 8 children in Lebanon to Maronite Catholic parents. When he was 16 years old, he got a job teaching Arabic in Egypt. He was excited to be out on his own, experiencing some measure of a young man's freedom. But while he was in Egypt, he met 2 priests. One was a Capuchin who died a good and holy death. Wow, thought young Khalil, I'd like to be a good priest like him. The other person he met was a mediocre priest. We don't know exactly how he wasn't so great. Maybe he was lazy or intemperate or unkind. We just know what young Khalil thought of that priest. He said, wow, I'd like to be a good priest in his place. That was enough to send him into a religious life. He became a Capuchin at age 19 and was given the religious name Yaqub, or Jacob. He was ordained in 1901 in Beirut as a priest of Jesus Christ. He was assigned to preaching, and from 1903 to 1914, he walked throughout Lebanon by foot preaching the gospel. He also went and preached in Syria and Palestine and Iraq and Turkey. And along the way, he faced death threats and beatings. He gave everything away that he had, even his clothing and his knapsack, and he had to write back to Beirut often for more supplies. While he walked, one day he had a vision. He envisioned a community of Lebanese Franciscan sisters serving the poor and sick in Lebanon. In 1919, with money people had given him over the years, he bought a plot of land and built a church. And he founded the Franciscan Sisters of the Holy Cross of Lebanon. At the heart of their work were works of mercy. The sister lived those works of mercy, and with Father Yaqub, they opened a girls' orphanage, a soup kitchen, a nursing home, a hospital for girls with disabilities. They opened homes for the indigent, and then they opened the first psychiatric hospital in the Middle East. Father Yaqub just poured himself out in his work, but the miles and the years took a toll on him. He had arthritis, he went blind, and he suffered leukemia. In the end, he became a contemplative, meditating in his own sickness on the cross of Christ. On June 26, 1954, at the age of 79, he told his brothers, "Today is my last day." In that afternoon, he lay down holding a crucifix. He prayed quietly to himself over and over again, "The cross of God, the love of my heart." And then he died. Pope John Paul II declared him venerable in 1992, and in 2008 he was beatified by Pope Benedict. His legacy continues today, not just in Lebanon, but globally. Jesus makes some uncomfortable statements in today's gospel. He's asking a lot of us. He says we must love nothing, even our own children, more than we love him. And we must lose our lives for his sake. And we are to take our cross up and follow him. Now remember, in the gospel today, these apostles have been with Jesus. They saw his works, his teaching, and his healings. And now he is sending them out to do exactly what he did. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being asked by Jesus directly to go and do what he did? But guess what? It's exactly what he's asking of you and I. And even though he warns them of persecutions, I wonder back then if they really got what it means to follow Christ then. St. Jacob got it. Countless others who have placed Christ ahead of everything else in their life got it. This whole week I've been wondering, do I get it? Do you get it? Will I eat better or sleep better tonight? And that word choice comes up again. Choosing him over I changes everything. It's a wonderful time of the year to sit down, take a good look in the mirror, and see where you're at with Christ. What's ahead of him in your life? It's not that he's asking you to give up everything and do what he did, St. Jacob, but he is asking us to make our priorities right with him. And for each of us, that's going to mean something different. But we all know something deep, deep down in our hearts when it's the right thing to do. God gave us his son Jesus out of the most incredible, unconditional love ever. Are we able to give ourselves back to him? The choice is placed before us. Amen.